Close.
Good.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let the record show, 3 members are present. Supervisors Wickman, Supervisors Groby, and Supervisor Bell. Can I get a motion on the consent agenda in a second? The minutes as read.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second. No, one of us has to do something, don't we?
Yeah. You have to do something. Okay, so we got a motion and a second on the approval of the minutes from July 13th, 2021. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, next up, we have a discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 69-2021 entitled Resolution Directing Sale of $1,905,000 subject to adjustment per terms of offering, general obligation capital loan notes series 2021A.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maggie Berger with Sphere Financial. We've laid our letters in front of you. This very first letter is addressing, as Scott mentioned, $1,905,000 of general obligation capital loan notes, Series 2021A. We did not make any adjustments to the principal amount. As you can see from the letter, we are recommending that we would award to Robert W. Baird of Red Bank, New Jersey at an interest rate of 0.9338%. They are going to pay you a premium. So there's approximately $80-some thousand that they are going to pay you in advance, which just means they wanted on page 2% interest rates all the way down from that 22 maturity to that 29 maturity. And because they wanted 2% interest rates, the market really today and the yields is probably at about a 0.35, maybe a 0.75, a 1, a 1.15. And so to be able to get the 2% and be able to resell it as 2%, they've got to give you money up front to do that. That money can be spent on the projects, and you'll recall this 1.9 is really your normal, we'll say, capital borrowing, things that you do in and around the county. These are purchases of software. There's been conservation before. There's been any kind of purchases for, like I said, conservation, sheriff's vehicles. There's been just all kinds of things before that has been a part of these. So that's what these are for. 3 of the 4 bidders all bid a 2% interest rate. So as we were in there watching the sale this morning, it really came down to who paid you how much, and that was the greatest amount won, basically. Fifth Third Bank out of Cincinnati, they bid a 3%. So they felt like they needed 3% to be able to resell these bonds. The final page has your final debt service schedule, and these bonds are callable after 2027. So these are not actually a 10-year bond. These are a little bit shorter, and those last 2 years could be paid ahead. They could be paid off in full, but if at the time interest rates are not lower than 2%, if reinvestment rates, I would say you'll just go ahead and pay it as you as the money comes in from property taxes as it's scheduled, and not pay it ahead if there's no real savings there. As part of that bond issuance, we did go out and have Moody's do a rating. You were reaffirmed at the AA1. Now remember, that's 1 notch off of perfect. AAA is the perfect rating that is out there. There's about 10 cities, school districts, counties in the state that have a AAA, and the state of Iowa being one of those agencies that carries a AAA. They talk about how you're have very healthy reserves, how you've had growth, and that you carry your debt burden and pension liabilities are low and manageable. They also talk about what could lead to a downgrade. If you'll recall, it was about 5 years ago that you were upgraded to the AA1 from the AA2 rating. Going to a downgrade would be a large reduction in reserves. And I think we had a conversation this morning with Mitch, and he has read the methodologies, and he says, really, Moody's wants to make sure that you have cash to operate the county if cash was not coming in, if there was a delay in property taxes for whatever reason, et cetera. They do talk about how you have grown at over 3% in your actual valuation over the last few years. They talk about how you are really doing a nice job of keeping reserves at about that 50% mark right now, which is fantastic. And it talks about how you do have a low debt burden. We talked a little bit about pensions. There's a few things in your rating that are out of your control. Demographics, concentration of your economy, which is like gaming. You have a lot of gaming in the area, and they kind of lead the economy or make up a good majority piece of the economy from a commercial industrial standpoint. So we're very happy to see that you were reaffirmed at that rating. So with that, I'd answer any questions that you have, but that is the first series of bonds that I have to report on before your action. We would recommend that you would award to Robert W. Baird of Red Bank, New Jersey this afternoon at 0.9338%.
I'll move that, Scott, for discussion.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Wickman,
I'll second it.
second by Supervisor Grill.
Maggie,
No, discussion.
the only question I have for you is on your key indicator sheet here, you're showing us a fund balance as a percentage of revenues at 51.2%.
Yep, that is, and that's not us, that's Moody's. This is the Moody's report. So they're the ones calculating that. And interestingly enough, we can ask them for that direct calculation, but Mitch also has it. They're pulling in revenues from general fund, debt service fund. They're pulling in a whole bunch of your fund balances. So it's not just one of them, it's not just the general fund. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't care about that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'll call for the vote. Oh, unless somebody else has.
No, the only question, and not really a question, but a comment would be, they indicate that 2,000 of the employees down there, maybe they are able to get their zip codes or something, work at the casinos, live in Pot County. I don't know how they quite do that, but.
For your demographics.
Yeah, I'd be curious if that number is correct or not.
Probably what it is Moody's likely rates the casino. And so they have a whole list of questions different when you're a public agency.
Yeah.
It's about public dollars and this and that. Their rating of a commercial organization, a commercial business, likely that's one of their questions that they ask, where are your employees coming from? And, the casino may be tracking that. Well, the majority of our living in this, these zip codes, which is right here in Pottawatomie County, others are. But I would assume it's because, and that's what happens when you do see that, when you have a big casino, and I'm sure these casinos are rated, they would almost have to be. I'm sure they're pulling that from other reports from those casinos.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman.
Aye.
Supervisor Grove.
Aye.
Okay, moving right along. Discussion and decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 70-2021 entitled Resolution Directing the Sale of $12 million, subject to adjustment per terms of the offering general obligation urban renewal bonds series 2021B.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Whitman, second by Supervisor Grill.
And
Okay,
as
now-
you can see, Robert Baird is the low bidder in this one as well. We did have 5 bids versus the 4 bids that we had. Different bidders, some of them are different bidders, and we talked this morning. That's just due to the size. Some of these bidders on this first issuance, they're not equipped to be able to take on $12 million of debt. It's an all or nothing type bid. So we do see some of our bigger players, our UBS, our JP Morgan, and our Hilltop Securities on this one. This is a true interest rate that we are recommending of 1.4879. Difference between this one and that one is that one before at under 1% was 8 years. This one is 15 years. So it goes out a little bit longer. And as I was saying to Supervisor Wickman before we started, there's just these underwriters are hedging the market. They assume that interest rates will be better in 15 years. So as they turn around and someone's sitting and holding this 2% investment, interest rates could be 3 and 4% at that time. And so if you're the one holding it, you're holding onto a low earning yield investment. So they're kind of hedging. There is a larger premium in this one, but there is a premium of approximately $491,000. Again, that can be spent on the project. We did see all 2% except for JP Morgan. They bid 2% in the first 3 years and then 3% all the rest of the way down. These bonds are callable just 1 year later out after June 1st of 2028 because it's a longer maturity. The Moody's rating report covered both of these, and I will tell you that probably played in very nicely to you guys receiving 4 and 5 bids. That rating of a AA1, that one notch off of that perfect AAA score, is just phenomenal for a county in Iowa, the size that you are, and that's just a great rating, and I'm sure that comes into play when they're doing this. So these interest rates, again, are higher. We anticipated these rates could be around 1.5%, and again, that's really just based on the length of maturity of these bonds. I'd answer any questions that you have about this one.
Any questions? Probably see the money into August, 1st of September.
Yes, you are going to get your money on August 18th.
On August 18th?
On August 18th, that is the closing date. So yes, you'll have action in a couple of weeks. You'll have some other resolutions, and Scott, there'll be a whole stack of papers for you to sign. Today, you're locking everything in, but as normal, in 2 weeks from now, you'll have those authorizing and issuance resolutions that come from bond counsel. Whole lots of signatures on those, but everything you're doing today locks everything in. Those are just procedural documents that have to be completed. And then August 18th is the day that you will get the funds in your account.
Okay. No further discussion? Roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman,
Aye.
Supervisor Groby.
Aye.
Okay.
Maggie, thank you very much for your help on this. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys very much. We're very happy with these results. I mean, we're gonna look back on this in like 15 years. I will still be here. Mitch will still be here. We will look back on this in 15 years and say, wow, look at how
I'll
low
be
those
here.
interest rates were.
But I won't be on the board.
You won't be on the board. I know, everyone will be here. You just may not be on the board. I say, as soon as we can get to 20-year bonds, maybe I can say I'll be retired by then.
Year, but I don't think I'll be on the board either, but 15 years, wow. I don't know. What 80 looks like. Start looking at it, I guess. Can I get it's not on here, but can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Okay. Roby, Supervisor
Yeah, it's on there.
Roby.
Yeah, it's here.
Oh, I'm looking at sorry. Flip the page. Supervisor Groby, second by Supervisor Wickman. Discussion? Hearing none?
Wait, there is nothing that can change between now and the 18th, right?
Correct. If they back away from this, you got 2% money of it today. So if they would back away, that's the only thing that could change, but nothing can change on the interest rate. So we've never had anyone back away, but that's why we get 2% of the amount upfront in a good faith.
We'll get that today.
Because that is money then that they'll never get back
You
if
got-
they would back away. But no, we've never had that happen. Even in the darkest of days in the economy, it's
You
never
got-
happened.
You got that money?
The 2% will get wired in today.
It'll get wired in today, 2% of each of the bond sizes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it comes today as good faith wire, it's called.
Co-
One of them's 240,000, the other one's about,
Comes to comes, so
It'll
they
get
had
wired
our,
into
they had
the-
our wire instructions and all of it and stuff?
Yes, so interesting, we don't put your wire instructions out there. It goes through our amalgamated bank. So we have an amalgamated bank account in Chicago, our office does, or our firm does. So what happens is that money gets wired to amalgamated, so that there's no chance of them getting your bank accounts or anything like that. Then amalgamated is a clearing, and then
Oh.
amalgamated is the one who sends it on to your bank, and so it clears all in the same day. They have 2 hours after the sale to wire it into amalgamated. Amalgamated has like 2.5 hours to get it out to you guys.
Not after we have done ours, but actually after the sale.
After the sale,
So it's
correct.
probably,
It should be there, or usually we say by 3 o'clock, and it just depends. Banks sometimes check their wires, they don't check them like momentarily, they check them like every hour to see what's come in.
and the treasurers knows it's
Yep.
coming, I guess,
So I
so,
think I reached out.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, hearing none, motion passes. We're